In this week's episode, I drill stuff. Kyle decides to hit my boat with a hammer. And Danny vents his frustrations with an angle grinder. So in the last episode we drilled all of the holes for the acrylic. So most of the holes for the acrylic, I still have to re-drill this one because there's no pre-existing holes. So I'm going to take that opportunity to drill all of it one go. But anyway, the acrylic for all of the other port lights are drilled. So the next step is to drill out all of the stainless steel surrounds. So I have the laser cut stainless steel surrounds that I was talking about, and once they're drilled out, they'll fit into the port lights. So once that's done, we'll have to clean off all of the port light surrounds and epoxy them, and then we can start sealing. So I won't be able to seal this week because the epoxy takes a while to cure. It can take up to a week to really fully cure. So I want to give it a bit of time. The weather seems to be picking up as well, so it's quite warm today. I started trying to drill one of the stainless steel surrounds with a hand drill, but I kept burning out drill bits. So it turned out that there's a pillar drill in the yard, so I'm going to use that instead. Hopefully that'll make a lot of difference because I can control the speed and feed quite easy. While I wasted time drilling holes in the stainless steel, Kyle did some real work and drilled the holes for the hatch. I let Danny loose on the angle grinder and he cleaned all the window surrounds too. It really is nothing like free labour.
And there it is with a bit of light inside. I forgot to unblock the rear window here, this one, but it gives you an idea of what it's going to look like when it's on the water at night. You can imagine the hull now is like dark navy blue, and then the top side will be white, and the lights inside, and oh man, it's starting to look like a boat now. So after Kyle drilled all the holes for the hatch, and it fits perfectly, and we're all really happy with that. But I waited a bit too late in the day to put the paint on it. So it's a 2-part epoxy primer, and the problem is I think I put it on a little bit too late in the day, and it's kind of reacted a little bit with the moisture in the air later on in the evening. So you're supposed to put epoxy on, I think it's 6 to 8 hours before dew point. Otherwise you get an issue with the paint not curing properly, and you get Amy and blush as well, which is a problem. So hopefully it'll be okay. It hasn't fully cured yet. It takes quite a while to cure. It can take up to 24 hours where the weather isn't too great. So I'll see how that goes, and we might have to take it all off and repaint it, but that's not a huge deal. It's a learning experience. I've never used epoxy primer before, so that's a learning experience. It's cool to have all of the holes drilled. We're still pushing to launch in May, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. We're not going to be too depressed or too disappointed if we don't manage it, but we're going to push hard towards it and see how we get on. Yeah. And then the frames will fit up here, so we put a coat of epoxy on here after Danny cleaned it off, and now these frames will sit up here and fit on there like that. So once the tape is taken off,
off of these steel surrounds. It's going to be lovely, and that'll sit up like that, and then I can build up my interior up to that point and have lovely stainless steel frames. So this is a button head machine screw and washer and bolt or nut. So these are what I'm going to use to bolt the window in, and I like the button head finish, so I think that's going to be nice. So against the stainless steel, that's going to look cool. But yeah, these are the fasteners. They're 316, and I did try and weld this nut to the back side of the frame, but the stainless steel and the mild steel, I couldn't get the torch in at the right angle and everything. So I'm just going to figure something else out. Just wrapping up another weekend. So we got quite a lot done this weekend. Thanks to both the lads, Danny and Kyle, for giving me a hand this weekend. Obviously, many hands make light work, so we got loads done, and I'm delighted with what we did get done. So I've all of the acrylic and stainless steel is now drilled. The next stage is to kind of come up with a solution that so I can take the windows out in the future. Basically, at the moment, the nuts at the back will be inaccessible once the interior is in. So I need to come up with a solution for that, but I have an idea, so I think we'll get around that. My fear there is really one day the windows are going to leak. The sealant will break down at some point and it will leak, so being able to take it out is quite important to reseal it. So that's going to be my next challenge. We knocked pretty much all of the jobs off that we wanted to. The deck, the hatch is now positioned correctly. We painted that up. All of the port lights are painted up, cleaned off of rust, any rust that was there. Most of the stainless is drilled, and all of the other small jobs that I hope to get done this weekend are done as well, so that's brilliant. Continuing on with the theme that I usually have is I want to speak about another channel that I love. So it's an interesting story with this channel because I know the guy really well now. His name's Andries Bik. He's a guy from Amsterdam in his late 30s, and he took off one day from Amsterdam in a small 30-foot steel boat and sailed around to Ibiza, and he just lived there for a couple of years, living the dream. He's a really interesting character, and he's really worth checking out. The way I met him was funny too. I was in Ibiza visiting for a week, and I saw this crazy guy putting up these posts on Facebook, one of the Facebook groups, sailing around the place and having great fun. And I said I'll email him and see whereabouts he is, and see if he was anywhere close by. And he actually turned out he was really, really close by. He was at anchor really close by, so I went sailing with him the next day, and we had a great day, and we ended up becoming really good friends. So we texted back and forth all the time. So I've linked his channel, and I think you should go and check it out if you want to see somebody who's actually sailing and not doing this stupidity. He actually just bought a boat and took off instead of this waste of time. But yeah, it's definitely worth checking that out. One last thing as well is I want to talk about obviously the natural progression with boat channels or any kind of YouTube channel once it gets traction is to move on to Patreon. We have set up a Patreon account, and if you are mad enough to pledge, then I'm not going to argue with you. I put the link to that in the description, and there should be a link that pops up at the end, but feel free, and feel free not to as well. Either way, I'm delighted that you're even watching the video, so thanks very much. So I'm going to wrap that up today now. We'll be back again next weekend. It's a very long weekend next weekend, and hopefully it's the same weather this week, next week as it was this week. The weather was unreal, so thanks again, and I'll see you next weekend, same time.